Hello my darlings, and welcome to a new vlog. I'm going to give you the weather forecast because I feel like I always have to set the scene with a weather forecast. Today is a very spring-like day, or should I call it April showers type day, in the middle of February. It's one of those days where it's beautiful blue sunshine one minute and then it is absolutely pouring with rain the next. So I can't decide whether I need to have an intense afternoon on my laptop or get out in the garden. I'm obviously desperate for the latter. I have not had like a full get into the garden 2026 day yet, and I feel like my body and soul and mind really need that kind of day. I'm on the lemon and ginger tea this morning because I have woken up, I don't know if you can tell, with a little bit of a sniffle, and we don't have time for the sniffle. Lemon and ginger tea, I always think, is the cure of everything, so fingers crossed this is gonna work. So with my lunch today, I just had a lovely, it wasn't a leek and potato soup, it was a new one from Daylesford. I think they call it their super green. It was nice. I think my leek and potato is a little bit yummier, but I'll definitely get it again. It's a nice one to have in the fridge. I was having a little flick through this. I've mentioned before how I really love the Wellness Scoop podcast, and they did a really interesting episode recently about how we're all just constantly looking at our phones and we always need like a secondary distraction, whether that's double screening. I'm sure, in fact I know that nearly 50% of you guys watch these YouTube videos on your television, and I'm pretty sure that you're not sat there with your arms folded purely watching the vlogs. You're probably on your phone, maybe you're cooking, maybe you're doing the ironing, maybe you're taking off your makeup. These are all the things that I love to do when I'm watching videos. But I think we can all relate to the fact that we always need a little bit of stimulation, and I recognize that I go in like ups and downs with this kind of thing. Sometimes I really notice that my mood correlates closely to my screen time in a not so good way. So if I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed, a bit stressed and anxious, I realize it's because I'm having one of those days where I don't put my phone down for 1 second. Like if I'm emptying the dishwasher, I want to be learning something via a YouTube video. If I'm even walking from one side of the house to the next, I will want to be listening to a podcast or something. I always need a secondary bit of stimulation, and our brains are not designed to cope with that, and I feel like I really want to train myself to stop being that way. So the reason I'm clutching this, the Wellness Scoop podcast, they were saying try when you're having your lunch to not be watching a screen at the same time. They were talking about mindful eating. And they also spoke about this on the Zoe podcast lately, how it's actually so much better for our digestion if you don't have a screen that you're watching, so you can actually concentrate a little bit more on your food and digesting it, chewing it properly, thinking about what you're eating. Meant to be better for your digestion, better for your brain. And if you're kind of training yourself away from watching the TV or watching something on your phone while you're eating, switch to something a little bit more analog as your stepping stone towards actually sitting and only eating. Like imagine that, just sitting there with no distraction and only eating your food. How lovely if you've got a dining table with all your friends and family there, or your children there, and you're chatting to them. Let me know down below, honestly, do you sit and watch something or do something while you're eating? I would say 5 out of 7 evenings a week, Charlie and I eat our dinner in front of the TV. And I know that that's not great. We have a lovely dining table right here, and yet we still sit 2 meters away and watch the TV. So today, as my stepping stone to being a little bit more analog with my lunchtime, I read a magazine. I was drawn in by, kind of on theme, the slow living title on this one. But there wasn't actually an article about slow living. It was just more of the kind of general theme of the magazine. but it really got me thinking about a few things that maybe I need to slow down on and do a little bit differently to live a little bit more analog in 2026. And I know that this is really becoming a little bit of a trend. Apparently it's a TikTok trend. We all know that. I don't go on TikTok, so I don't know. Speaking of that, we had a little deep dive into our 2025 analytics recently. And I'm actually going to put a graph up on the screen here of the age demographics of this YouTube channel because I think it's fascinating. And when I mentioned in a vlog, I think it was last week, that I was potentially going to be working with someone to help me a little bit more on TikTok, so many comments were saying, Josie, I'm not even on TikTok, don't even bother. And I'm not gonna lie, that relieved me. I breathed a sigh of relief, and looking at the demographics of you guys watching the channel, I can absolutely understand why. Anyway, I'm digressing so much this morning. It is a bit of a trend how to live in a more analog way, and I think that that is driven by everything that I've just said, that fatigue of feeling like you constantly need to be stimulated, you constantly need a distraction. And I think we all know deep down that the best thing for our brains and for our bodies and for our minds is to actually just focus on one thing at a time. Just put all of your energy and attention into one task. Don't be multitasking. Don't be watching something while reading something, while cooking something. So that's going to be a little bit of the kind of trend for this week's vlog, as I try to do some slightly more analog things, try to practice slowing down a little bit. Yeah, that's the idea. So what I would really love to do, I'll tell you a few things that I do. And I've mentioned before, I have these silly rules in the morning, like for example, no checking my phone until I've kissed the dogs. And in the summer, my rule is sunlight before screens, so I like to actually get outside before checking my phone. Very hard at this time of year when it's pitch black when I wake up, but I can't wait. It feels like actually today was the first day that I did my earlier Pilates class because it's no longer pitch black when I leave the house at 7. So we're getting there slowly but surely. But also things like I love a to-do list. I am such a to-do list lover. I like to tick things off. I get a real dopamine hit from ticking things off my to-do list. So to have a digital to-do list is one thing, but my brain just prefers a pen and paper one. I have just realised that my notebook is pretty much the exact same colour as my dress, which has got fluff on it. Yes, writing things down, I feel like they go into my brain so much better. This is a diary from Noble Macmillan. It's my personalised 2026 diary. I'm actually not using it as a diary. For example, today I am writing in the January the 3rd column, but I'm using it as a to-do list, and I quite like the fact that every week I should probably just skip a few pages and actually get to the right week. I feel like Charlie's OCD wouldn't be able to handle the fact that I'm writing on the wrong pages, but I just love pen to paper writing things down and physically ticking things off. I'm just finding so satisfying. So would you like to know a few things that are on my to-do list for today / this week? 2 sets of Instagram stories to film for a couple of brands that I'm working with. One is 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅, which is the hair serum that I have been loving using lately. So many people recommended it to me and I was like, oh, I don't know if it's going to be really that different, that much better. It is really good. So I've been trying it for about 6 weeks ahead of agreeing to work with them, and yeah, I basically need to film some Instagram stories, get them edited and over to them. Then I have got a list here of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different brands that I don't currently work with, but 3 out of the 5 I am already a customer of. And 2 of them, actually I'll tell you the 2 that I am not currently a customer of. Vinted and 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅, because I have been doing so many wardrobe clear outs lately, and I've been taking things to local charity shops and local boutiques and things like that, giving things to friends and family, but I have actually got a few designer bags that I'm ready to part ways with, and I'd quite like to work with either a Vinted or a 𝑭𝒊𝒅 or someone along those lines to sell them. So I've got those two, as well as 3 other brands that I'm already a customer of that are on my kind of wish list. Normally how it works is, to be honest, nobody asked for this amount of information, but we know what I'm like. Normally the brands that we work with, we've worked with for many, many years, or, you know, we work with brands on kind of long-term basis. That's my dream way of working with brands. Sometimes a brand will email us and say, oh, we noticed that you're a customer, maybe we could film something together. But sometimes, okay, I'll tell you one of them, Aura rings. I have been loving using my Aura ring for the last, what is it, like 6 months, and I'm pretty sure they probably do work with content creators, so that is one that I might actually try and find a contact and reach out to them and just share with them some of the content that I've created naturally, and maybe it could turn into a partnership, who knows. So that's on my to-do list. Annoyingly, I need to swap a flight that I've booked. I need to pick an outfit for an upcoming event. I need to email a brand to check that they're happy with an integration that I've filmed for them. I need to email a brand that's based up in Edinburgh to see if I can book in or confirm a meeting with them when we're up in Edinburgh. So just lots of things on my to-do list, and I normally like to split my to-do list out so that the under 5-minute tasks go at the top, and then the 5 minutes to 30-minute tasks go in the middle, and then the 30 minutes and above tasks, like filming Instagram stories for a brand or filming an integration, they go at the bottom. So I have a little bit of priority. So that is how my Analogue working situation is going at the moment. Can't quite get over this colour, but also just trying to focus on activities that don't involve being on my phone. This, I think, is why I love gardening so much, because your hands are covered in soil, you're thinking about the future, you're investing time in the future, because it obviously takes like 3 to 6 months, sometimes even longer, to go from sowing a seed to eating something. So it's the ultimate test of patience, of manifestation, but also just doing something with your hands, with your bare hands, and not being on your phone. So we're gonna get cracking with some of that this afternoon. As soon as this torrential rain finishes, I need to do a little bit of a stock take of my seeds to see which ones I need to buy more of. I think a lot of my seeds are actually out of date. That's my excuse for buying more seeds this year. And also, maybe today, maybe tomorrow, depending on time, I would like to redo my nails. That's something that I'm going to try to do without any distractions, just really treat myself to a little bit of time, sitting down, enjoying and doing an at-home manicure. We all know that I love the Manicurist range because it's just so easy to do your nails at home and they always turn out beautifully. And I also would quite like to bake some scones. I feel like baking is another really lovely Analogue habit to get into, or hobby to do. Anyway, we've been chatting for a really long time, so I'm gonna make myself a coffee and then let's do a little stock take of my seeds. Coffee, and quick little job I need to do. These are my Smith & Munson flower delivery. It's tulips, so I trimmed the bottom this morning when they arrived, and I've had them soaking in the paper for a couple of hours, and this just stops them from getting too floppy. So you want to trim the bottom, put them in some fresh water, but keep them wrapped up for a couple of hours, and then your tulips will stay nice and straight and strong. These look absolutely glorious, such a beautiful colour, and they are the parrot type of tulip that have the little ruffly edges, which I think is so pretty. As you saw a second ago, I'm putting my coffee grounds, and I'm going to now put my flower trimmings and extra leaves into my composter, which is officially my favourite gadget in the house. I shared a big unboxing and chat about this at the very end of a vlog last week. If you didn't catch it, sorry about the washing machine. This is my wrinkle, and inside I'm putting all of my food scraps, all of my flower trimmings, and it's basically going to turn it into garden compost for me. So yeah, this is my new little obsession, and it's neatly tucked away under the air fryer next to the vacuum. Absolutely beautiful, and look at this, the sun has just come out, but it's still raining. So do I do gardening? Maybe not quite just yet. We'll give it another 20 minutes. Okay, so while I wait for this little rain shower to finish, I'm going to show you 4 really beautiful new dresses that I have got recently from Boden. I feel like they are having such an amazing season right now. I wore this dress, you might have seen it in the last vlog, and 2 separate people in the changing rooms at Soho Farmhouse asked where it was from and said it was really lovely, and I feel like I didn't properly get to show you in the last vlog because it was very cozy lighting, let's just say. But yeah, this has been one that I've just been reaching for very, very regularly because it kind of ticks all the boxes. Comfortable with it being knitted. I think the little ruffle detail is so sweet. I do love a tie around the waist, and lengthwise, you can't see, but it's a really nice kind of demure midi length. So for days when I'm working from home or days for meetings, I feel like this is just such a nice one, and the colour I absolutely love. So if you're looking to add something very versatile into a pre-spring wardrobe, I think this is a gorgeous option. Okay, dress number 2, and I've actually had the opposite experience with this dress than the experience that I think you get quite a lot from high street pieces recently, in that the quality of this has actually far exceeded my expectations. When I saw it on the website, I thought, it's beautiful, it looks lovely, but it's probably going to be quite a thin, lightweight dress. Well, actually the opposite. This material feels really weighty. It's got a really nice hang to it, a really nice kind of thickness and weightiness to it. It just feels like a really good quality piece, which obviously I'm very, very happy about. So I think we're all still quite liking that slightly Yellowstone-y vibe, a little bit, what is the word? A bit Western, kind of like country meets American Montana vibes. I think you kind of get the gist of the aesthetic that I've got in my brain right now. Add a little cowboy hat, add some boots, and you've got a beautiful outfit, but also it's giving a little bit Martha Stewart, it's giving a little bit Pamela Anderson in her garden, and I absolutely love it. So it is a denim dress, again, really nice length. It's actually longer than the green one, so if I want to wear my little ankle boots, then you're not going to get that little strip of shin like you do with the other one. So really lovely length. I love the fact that you can tie it in, cinch yourself in at the waist, create a nice flattering silhouette, and then otherwise the silhouette is pretty much like a classic shirt style. So you've got the classic shirt style button closure on the sleeves, classic shirt style neckline at the top, which I think so many people are just really comfortable with this style. It's incredibly versatile, and as well as it just being a classic denim dress, you've also got this really beautiful broderie cutout detail, and I love the colour. I don't wear that much blue. In fact, aside from denim pieces, I don't think I wear any blue, but it is a really lovely and just very easy colour to add into your spring wardrobe. So for days like today when there's still definitely a chill in the air, but I want to wear something a little bit more floral or fun or spring-like, I feel like this is perfect. But if it is still too chilly, although this is lined, yeah, that's probably why it's got such nice thickness, it is lined. You could wear a thermal, you could wear tights, you could wear thermal boots, and be nice and cozy. You could even pop a little Sherpa gilet over the top. That would look gorgeous. But yes, overall, so impressed with the quality, as I often am with Boden. They really are very good. I'm always impressed, and I think the design is absolutely gorgeous. I will leave all these pieces linked down below, and I'll also have had a QR code on the screen here. If you are watching on the TV, then you can scan it and this will be shoppable. Now obviously this is not a dress, this is a cardigan, but I couldn't show you bits from my latest Boden order without showing you this. Again, I did wear this pretty much the entire weekend over Valentine's Day last weekend. I'm sorry, but this is not the cutest cardigan you've ever seen in your life. I just think it is so sweet, and I'm going to be wearing it all spring. Got the little sheepies, little flowers, pink sheep, daffodils, pansies. It's just adorable, and I think the colours are gorgeous. I wore this just with high-waisted wide leg jeans over the weekend, but maybe you could wear it flung over your shoulders on top of a dress. I don't know, let's see. I mean, I would. Some people might think it's maybe cutesy overkill, but yeah, it's probably a little bit too much, but is it not just the funnest little piece you've ever seen? I think so. So this is by far the most casual of the three, and I was kind of imagining those days when I just want to throw something on really quickly, head into the garden, throw it in my bag, post-gym session when I'm showering at the gym, and I just need a quick and comfy outfit. So really nice kind of olivey, sagey green that's got me very excited for summer, and nice deep pockets, elegant length again, and this kind of material which is just, it's almost like t-shirt material, so it's just really easy breezy is how I'm going to describe this one. You've got little ruffle detail up here, little smock detail here, smock detail on the waist, so super comfy, especially if you're enjoying a bowl of macaroni cheese, which I'm definitely craving for later on today. But yeah, nothing too out there design detail wise, so just an easy one to throw on when you need a quick outfit formula. Okay, now I think I've saved the best till last. I just love the material, the colours and the silhouette of this one. So we have got a really lovely, it's almost like a linen-y, light, breezy material in a green and white stripe, which is my perfect colour combination. A very flattering cut length on the sleeves. What would you call this? Like an extended t-shirt? I'm not sure. It doesn't come with a belt, but it does have a smocked section, shirred section here, so it automatically, even without a belt, just kind of cinches you in a little bit. They've really thought about that super flattering silhouette. So it buttons down to the waistband, but because it's got that elastic bit, you can still step into it, because I hate having to put dresses on over my head. It's just a little bugbear that I have. It ruins your hair, it ruins your makeup, so I love it when you can step into a dress. Of course, we've got pockets. It feels quite billowy, quite loose. If you've got a city break, if you're heading to Barcelona for the weekend, you need something that's a little bit covering, you know, your shoulders are covered. Also, if you're going to like Abu Dhabi or Dubai, you need something a bit more covered, but the lightweight breathableness of the material means you're not going to overheat. The fact that it's quite loose, again, it's going to be really comfortable on those warm days, but I actually think this will be perfect even for those early spring days. Just pop a nice chunky cardigan, a nice coat over the top, and you feel like you're wearing something a bit spring-like, but there's still plenty of fabric, so you're not too overexposed. I just think it's gorgeous, easy to wear, one of those things that's just going to suit absolutely everybody. And I've been styling all of these with these cute little shoes, which I have not yet suede sprayed, so I will be doing that. But again, just lovely detail, like this little leather trim. I like the square toe. I think it's quite a, I was about to say modern finish, and then I thought that would be a really unmodern thing to say. I'm starting to sound sniffly, aren't I? I am. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go and get my seeds, my seed folio, light the fire in the house, have a little look through my seeds here in the warm, because I really don't want this developing into a cold. Keep your fingers and toes crossed for me, and I think another cup of lemon and ginger is on the cards. But yes, all these lovely pieces I'll leave linked for you and in the QR codes. So a quick little greenhouse update. I actually can't even remember when I last watered anything in here, which is really bad, but I think seeing as it's potentially going to be quite cold tonight, I probably shouldn't do any watering now, maybe in the morning. But look at this. So we have got tulips starting to come up through the moss. You might remember I had a lovely afternoon a very analog afternoon a couple of weeks ago where I put together my bulb little pots, and I'm so happy with those. You guys warned me, do not eat these pea shoots because apparently hyacinths are very toxic. You can see a hyacinth just starting to come through here. More tulips coming through. These are the geraniums from last year. I've just been kind of, well, I haven't done for a while as you can see, but removing dead leaves, and I'll probably just give this a feed, and I'm hoping it'll come back to life. Geraniums are normally quite good at not dying. And I think these are really, really good ones from Daylesford. They've lasted a really long time. It lasted all summer, gave me so many beautiful blooms. You just have to keep making sure that you deadhead any leaves that are not looking too happy. This one as well, although, yeah, it's probably very, very parched. Hasn't had a drink in a while. Right, let's have a look at my seed collection. Ooh. This is also the same colour as the dress I was wearing earlier. I'm hoping no spiders are living in here. And then I have a random plant pot here full of seeds that I think I must have bought at the end of last year. So let's take a little look. I think that these ones here, I maybe got them, oh, these are the ones that I got in my Christmas stocking. Of course, these are ones from Charlie. So I've got things like carrots, courgettes, more carrots, a broccoli and a squash. I don't think these are varieties that I can sow for quite some time. A lot of them March, April, March. So got a few more weeks until we really get cracking with seed sowing. And then these are a few of my ones from last year. Spinach you can start in February. Swiss chard, more broccoli. To be honest, I'm not too sure why I got these ones out. I think maybe these are just early ones. So what I'm really looking for are spring onion. I've got a feeling I need to get some more spring onion. Oh, there's spring onion there, maybe I don't. Lettuce, salad rocket. I just need to have a real organise, because this is the way that I like to organise my seeds. This is a photo album from the same company as my notebook that I showed you earlier. And what I like to do is just put everything in here in the order that you can sow them. So I have like January, February, March at the very beginning of the book, and then I have more kind of April, May sowings down here. But there's so many gaps because I've obviously taken things out and used them all up. So I'm going to put all of these seeds into this book in the right order, and that will help me to kind of get in my mind a little bit of a list of what I've got, and then when we go to the garden centre in the next couple of days, I'll know if there's any gaps in my seed collection that need to be filled. I would say that sowing things from seed or growing from seed is probably level 2 gardening. Like, you probably do need a little bit of outside space, or at least quite a big patio, and I appreciate that not everybody has got that. We're so lucky to have the space out here in the Cotswolds. When we lived in London, I did have a small garden, but even in that size, I wasn't really prioritising growing from seed. I wasn't as into gardening then. I still loved it, and Charlie and I would spend an hour, maybe an hour on a Saturday every month tidying up the garden, and we would always say, oh, isn't it amazing how much we can do in an hour? Whereas now living here, an hour is just nothing. Like, sometimes I think that the chimes on the church are broken because it just seems like the time goes so quickly, and I love those days. It is so good for the soul, good for the mind, to just spend a day not looking at your phone, not aware of the time, and getting lost in something as analog as gardening. But if, let's say, you have never gardened before and you want to dip your toes in, you want to see if it's for you, and you just want to do something that's not going to require you going out and buying a load of equipment or a load of tools and things, but you just want to feel that you've done something with nature, what I would recommend, and I'm sure like even your local supermarket probably has bulbs, you can buy little pots like this, especially at this time of year, of muscari, of crocus, of hyacinth, and they often come in these little plastic pots. All you need to do go to a charity shop, go to an antique shop, or even have a look on Etsy and get yourself some pretty terracotta pots. And you can go on Amazon and buy compost and just plant your little plastic pots of crocus or muscari into a bigger pot like this. Fill it with soil. If you're going to water it inside, just make sure you've got a little saucer underneath because the water will come out the bottom. And it's just so nice to have a lovely little plant inside the house like this. So that's going to be a task for me probably tomorrow, because I do get a bit carried away and get like compost everywhere. And I'll probably do, well, let me show you. I've literally just plonked these in their terracotta pots, but I've got a couple of white muscari. What's this? I think it's snake's head fritillaria. Yeah, fritillaria. And some ivy. And over here we've got the crocus and the muscari. So I've got quite a few that I want to pot up, which is a really nice, very relaxing afternoon task, which is something that, yeah, I definitely want to do over the next couple of days. But for now, let's take these inside and arrange my seeds. So we didn't have any cheddar, otherwise tonight would have been a mac and cheese kind of night. So the next best option, and actually probably better for me considering my sniffly nose, I'm doing my really hearty bone broth pasta. You guys have seen me do this quite a few times before, but I chop up some garlic, wait 15 minutes before cooking with it so that it retains all of its goodness, and then fry the garlic with some chili flakes. Then I actually fry the pasta shells. I use the northern pasta. It's called, I think it's called conchiglietti. It's a really nice small pasta. I love it. It's perfect for this dish. Fry the pasta just for a few minutes, and then I pour in some chicken bone broth. Also works really well. I mean, you can just use water or homemade veggie broth, a little bit of organic tomato puree, and then I've also added in a few teaspoons of dried garlic granules, a little bit of Italian herb mix, and I'm just going to wait for the pasta to cook in the bone broth. And then I'm going to add in some parmesan, some cottage cheese, a handful of spinach, and also my broccoli sprouts and my bean sprout mix. I'm just going to chuck it all in so it's full of loads of goodness, and hopefully it will stop my sniffle developing into a full-blown cold. And it's just so tasty. Did I mention cottage cheese as well? I'll add that in to make this beautifully creamy and delicious. This is officially the heartiest, loveliest, most delicious pasta dish, and there's actually so much goodness in here, so I feel like this is going to completely cure me. I'm going to feel 100% back to normal tomorrow morning, so I'm going to enjoy this at the dining table. No TV. I am going to finish reading my House and Garden, and then I'm going to sit in front of the TV and treat myself and do my nails, and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, my darlings. I literally woke up like this. I slept as Anne Boleyn last night and feeling very refreshed and ready for the day. I am having a little bit of an extended morning routine this morning, and I wanted to show you a couple of things that I've been doing that I've been really enjoying. So I feel like I'm very much documenting this journey that I'm on to find products that I love that are a lot more considerate in their ingredients and yet not sacrificing the results, because I'm not gonna lie, I do care what I look like. I want to have glowing skin. I don't want to have, you know, dehydration lines and things like that. So I'm not willing to make sacrifices, but I do want to find products that are amazing for just being a little bit more clean and considerate. So that has, of course, really impacted my algorithm, and I'm seeing so many natural skincare brands and non-plastic leggings and things like that. And a brand that kept on advertising to me persistently was a brand called 𝑭𝒊𝒂𝒕𝒖𝒓𝒆𝒅, F-R-O-Y-A. I believe it's a Swedish or Norwegian skincare brand, and the ads got me. The ads fully got me. I actually ordered 4 products from them, but one that I have fully integrated already into my routine is their anti-age and insane glow day balm. It looks like a really thick kind of carroty balm, and what I've already done this morning, because I do it straight out of the shower, is I put about a half a pea size amount in my hands, massage it in using my fingers, and then I do some facial massage. This tool looks a little bit rude, but I start off with this. It's from a brand called The Skinny Confidential. I got this at Christmas time, and I do a really lovely jaw massage, and this tool just makes it super easy. I do about 20 strokes on each side. I'm surprised I can actually talk while I'm doing this. It feels really, really good, and I hold a lot of tension in my jaw. So this is a really nice way of just kind of loosening that. And this balm, it is quite thick. The first day I made the mistake of putting far too much on, and it left almost like a film over my face, but now it's, now I put half the amount on, and it's just perfect for a bit of facial massage. Then I've got this stone here, which is a gua sha tool, and it's also got a wiggly bit on the top. You can actually see it better there. And then I don't follow any particular routine, it just sort of feels good, draining it down on both sides. As I said, I have already done this morning. And then the wiggly side, I do it on my forehead, try to like move the brows up. And it just feels really good. I hope it's doing some good, but it feels really good. An area that I have swapped to a brand that is a lot more considerate, getting rid of so many of the harsh chemicals that are in a lot of the traditional brands, is Manicurist. And you guys will have seen in the last couple of vlogs, I did a little bit of a nail kind of detox a week or so ago. And for that, I used one of their new products called 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅. I had a gel polish on my nails for 3 weeks while we were on holiday, and then I wanted to give my nails a really, really nice rest. And I used my Manicurist remover to get rid of my previous nail polish, gave myself a really nice manicure, buffed my nails down, filed my nails down, and then put on this. So 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅, it says enriched with chestnut extracts, which is really interesting, AHAs and niacinamide. These are ingredients that we're familiar with, that we know are really good to our skin, and our nails are made up of very, very similar components and structure, so it's no surprise that those ingredients are really good for our nails as well. 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 smooths away nail imperfections. It's a powder pink formula. It evens and refines the nail surface for a blurred matte finish. I would literally describe this, as you can kind of see from my nails, as like an airbrush finish for your nails. You can wear this on its own, or you can use this as a base coat. But if, for example, you've had gel nails on, maybe you've got some little marks on your nails, like I would say that my nail surface is not 100% like consistent, if that makes sense. This just creates the most beautiful evenness to your nails while still keeping them looking really, really lovely and natural, and containing really good ingredients. So if you're just the kind of person that always wants to have gel nails on, if you love that look, then this is a really nice thing to treat yourself to as a little bit of a break. Or if you don't wear gel nails, you prefer your nails to be completely natural, then this is just a nice way of treating them as we treat the skin on our face, to some lovely nourishment and ingredients, also giving them a really beautiful blurred look. So that has very, very swiftly become a favourite. I absolutely love the Manicurist Nail and Cuticle Serum. I keep one of these in my car. Sometimes I pop it on before I get going, just so that my nails can be like infusing with the goodness in this. What are the ingredients? Let's remind myself. Again, chestnut. They must have figured out something magical about chestnut. Serum Complete deeply hydrates nails and cuticles, regenerates the nail structure, and revives natural shine. Anything that you do to your nails, whether it's gel polish or regular polish or active blur or no polish, it's always a good idea, if you want your nails and your nail beds to just look neat and tidy and hydrated and not dry and cracked, then a cuticle serum like this, it's just super watery, it's kind of like a silky texture on the nails, always feels really good, and it sinks in a matter of moments. So I keep one in my car, I keep one in my handbag, I keep one on my bedside table, and it's the kind of thing I like to try to remember to do at least once a day. So I feel like all of those touch points, chances are I'll see it, and when I see it, I'm reminded to use it. So yeah, that's a couple of favourites, but I do love gel nails. I love my nails to look glossy and have a colour on them all the time. So what I did last night was I actually tried something new, something else new from Manicurist, and it's called their Extreme Flash. So previously, when friends have said, oh, what's on your nails? And I've told them about Manicurist, and I've said to them how it's a plant-based formula that actually nourishes the nails instead of stripping the nails of any goodness. And it's just so incredibly easy to do yourself at home. I will pop some clips on the screen here of my, my manicure using this range. And for the first time, I tried their new launch, which is the Extreme Flash. So what I absolutely love about Manicurist, aside from the fact that the formula is amazing, it's a female-founded company, it's so easy to do at home, but also the nails really, really last, and this is an extension of that. So Extreme Flash, up to 21 days, top coat LED gel. So you use your first and second coat the same as normal. This is a vitaminized base coat, so you're getting that lovely keratin nourishment and goodness directly onto your nail bed. On the LED lamp, it's not UV, you're not hurting your skin or damaging your skin in any way. It's an LED lamp, it's literally foolproof. It's got buttons saying base coat, middle coat, and top coat. So you press the buttons. I would say the entire manicure takes me like 20 minutes. Vitaminized, is that the word? Vitaminized base coat level 1. Then your color. I like my nails to look natural, just like a natural, healthy looking pink. So milky pink, which I think was from their, did they call it their Arctic collection? Possibly. They also have this gorgeous brown freckles color, which I've got on my toes. I'm not going to show you my toes, but that is what is currently on them. But milky pink, if you like your nails to look really natural, like your nails but better, then this is just the most beautiful colour. One coat would be almost just like a glossy, really clean girl kind of bubble bathy finish, and 2 coats is what I've got on now, so it's a little bit more colour coverage, and I think it just looks absolutely beautiful. And then the new top coat, so this is the Extreme Flash. It cures in the same way as the original top coats that you're very familiar with from Manicurist, but promises up to 21 days. It is super glossy, super shiny, my nails are incredibly protected, and it almost makes the nails look kind of juicy and plumped. It just gives such a beautiful finish. So yeah, you'll have been able to see a couple of little clips of me popping that on. So there we go. I just feel better when I've got fresh, clean nails, and the fact that it's so easy to do at home. No nasty chemicals, no really strong solutions, no drilling or filing of the nails, because to remove this is super easy. You just soak them with the product that you can get from Manicurist, and they literally peel off. There is no damage to the nail bed. I just think it's such a wonderful brand. If you're interested and want to treat yourself or a loved one, then I'll leave a link to the starter set and also the new products and the active blur down below, and Manicurist, make sure you spell it right, Manicurist Josie is a discount code that you can use. So yeah, that's just a couple of little ways that I've been treating myself lately. It's a nice thing to do in the evening, watching television, or like this morning with my facial massage, just listening to a podcast. It's all about making those nice changes for ingredients that are a little bit cleaner and more gentle on the skin, on the hair, on the nails, but without making any sacrifices. If you guys have any other favorite brands that are very considerate ingredient wise, please let me know. But for now, I'm gonna get dressed, take out my heatless curls, and let's start the day. Okay, just made it to the Burford Garden Company. You guys know how hard this is for me at this time of year when we're this close to seed sowing marathons. But as you know, I have done my analysis of what I've already got at home, so I've got a firm shopping list in mind, and I'm going to try really hard not to deviate from that list. But I literally am a child in a candy store when I come here. I thought that I would be the only one here today because it's the middle of the week, but alas, I've had to park the furthest away that I have ever had to park. My Oura ring will be thrilled for the extra steps. So, without further ado, oh my gosh, I was just looking for my camera and I'm talking to you on the camera. Okay, I think I need my second coffee of the day. I don't know if they do match here. Let's go and find out and try to practice a little bit of self-control. I have to say the bookshop here is probably the most wholesome selection of titles you'll ever see. Lovely, very analogue craft to find yourself falling in love with. Plaster casts of flowers, but these creations are by Rachel Dean, who actually cast my wedding flowers for me. I'll show you the finished bit of art when we get home. I'm sure lots of you will have seen it before, but you can get these lovely tiles. You can see she's got leaves, she's got, I think that's a little oak leaf, hellebores. It's so beautiful. I can't believe it's already the time of year again to start thinking about your dahlias that don't flower until late summer, but I think this year I might just wait and see which ones come back, because we didn't have that cold a winter, so I think most of them will have survived, and I don't know if I've got space for any more, so I'm going to practice a little bit of self-control here. Reached the danger zone. I'm going to try really hard to stick to the list. We're doing medicinal plants and veg that I know that I can grow quite easily. That's the theme for this year. Echinacea is a really lovely, amazing plant that's got so many medicinal benefits, so desperate to try and grow this year. Calendula, another one that's got so many benefits. I always think that if you can get intense colour, that means you're going to get loads of benefits. So I'm going to get this one called the Indian Prince. I always love the idea of growing onions, and I think if I had another raised bed, I would do it. I just would rather dedicate the space to more exciting things. I think that you can buy, like, we use so many onions and they take so long to grow just one. For me, it doesn't seem worth it, as opposed to cut and come again things like beans and peas and hopefully broccoli. Fingers crossed 2026 is my year of being able to grow broccoli. This is what I love about growing in your own garden. These different varieties of onion, like when do you ever, aside from a red onion or a white onion, when do you ever get to decide which variety of onion you want to eat. All the choice here. Speaking of varieties that you can't get in the supermarkets or even most farm shops, I've gone for this purple broad bean this year. It actually says you can sow from February onwards, so I can do this very, very soon. How exciting. Then I'll have purple broad beans to enjoy. Okay, I can feel myself getting carried away, so I'm going to move away from the seed section, but I think I've got a really good selection for this year. Talking about this brand in Waitrose, but I haven't been into a big supermarket in so long, so I haven't actually seen it anywhere. But I do love a spray on olive oil when I'm doing my egg muffins. I don't need this because I've got my one that I ordered from 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅, but I feel like I just want to try the brand. I love their branding, so I'm going to give this a go. Is this something that I desperately need, or is this something that I don't need at all because I already put my herbs in a little glass when I cut them from the garden? I don't know. Do I need a glass just for keeping my herbs? Quite possibly. My goodness me, the theme of today is avoiding rain showers. It was torrential. I don't know if you could actually hear it in the background of those clips, because a lot of the Burford Garden Centre, it's kind of corrugated iron roof and then the windows, and it was... At first I didn't know what it was. I thought maybe they had really loud air conditioning because it was like a roaring noise. Sorry, this is very boring. But then I realised it was the torrential rain hammering down on the ceiling. So I thought I can't leave, especially because of something that I bought for Charlie that would have been completely ruined. So I sat in the cafe and had a lovely bowl of tomato soup. I think this is the widest breadth of things that I have ever bought from Burford Garden Centre, ranging from hydrangea plants at one end to books, seaweed sprinkles, like gut health shots down at the other end. I've bought a real mixture. So I'll show you everything that I got when we get home. I have just pulled into Starbucks. I ordered this the day that we were driving home from the airport after our holiday in January, and it's the Velvet Pistachio Matcha Latte, and I get it with almond milk, and it is really good. It's really good. I heard him pumping, so I know that there's it's probably pistachio syrup, but it's delicious, and this is my little treat for the afternoon to fuel me up on the journey home. Back home again, and it's that time of day and type of weather where the lighting is just absolutely awful. So I'm going to make this really quick. First of all, I got this for a gift for Charlie. It's actually a hand-drawn map of the Cotswolds. When I tell you this Burford Garden Centre haul is the most random collection of things you've ever seen from a garden centre. It basically just has little sketches of each of the villages and something very symbolic of each village. So you've got 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 Abbey, you've got 𝑭𝒊𝒅 with the trees, the famous arboretum. Let's see, I bet obviously our village is too small so it won't be here, but Cirencester with the massive cathedral, Broadway Tower up here. It's just really interesting. And I feel like, yeah, Charlie just loves things like this. He loves maps, he loves outlines of the Cotswolds, so hopefully he likes that. A few little pretty bits in here. I don't know how long these are going to last because they've obviously been kind of force grown because it's too early for blooming hydrangeas, but I thought they'd be so pretty to just bring a little bit of joy and spring energy into the kitchen. And then I thought for Lila, for my mum, just as a little treat, I got her this pretty pink rose. She's quite good at keeping indoor plants alive, so hopefully these will survive a little bit longer. There's a few that are still in bud, and I think this will look really nice over there on the cake stand. So a couple of cute little plants, and then of course you've got the pots to enjoy afterwards. I was very, very lucky. I actually managed to get the last of the Mark's sourdough crumpets. If you are looking for the world's best crumpets, the yummiest and like heartiest and best ingredient crumpets, these are sourdough crumpets and they are amazing. I had actually planned to make some scones today, but I don't know if I'm going to have time. We shall see. I just love a cup of tea, and I love discovering new teas and teas with benefits, whether that's health benefits or herbal benefits. So I got Hampstead Organic. It's a tea company I've not tried before. They've got a green tea collection, pure green tea and ginger, green tea and mint, or green tea and jasmine. They use biodynamic farming, completely plastic free, organic. And then from Pukka, I was listening to a podcast with someone lately, and they were, I think it was someone that Dr. Rupy interviewed in Doctor's Pharmacy. They were like a chief herbologist at Pukka, and it made me remember how much I like the brand. They've got turmeric, ginger and orange, which would be lovely. Turmeric and ginger, so many benefits to that. And then elderberry and echinacea. Echinacea keeps you warm when it's cold, paired here with deep wild fruits, elderberry and juicy blackcurrant. They've not actually spoken on the packaging here about the health benefits, like the immunity benefits and the amazing nutrients you get from elderberry and echinacea. Maybe they're not allowed to because it's not like clinically proven, and it just costs so much money to get proven claims for ingredients that grow in the wild. So no one actually decides to put their own marketing budget or research budget into proving these claims. It's just kind of known within the herbal community that elderberry has got all of these amazing immunity benefits. So there we go, 3 lovely teas that I can't wait to enjoy. Now, when I tell you this is the most random haul from a garden centre, I bought an extension cable. Because have you ever seen an extension cable this beautiful? It's got a bronze rope. Did I need a bronze rope extension cable? No. But is it the kind of thing that you invest in once, and it was £65, so this really is an investment. It's the kind of thing that you invest in once, and then I will probably have this like for the rest of my life. So in my mind, that is, I can't do it, that is £65 well spent. I could take this with me in my suitcases when I go on work trips, or I could have it in the office. And it's quite lightweight, you know, it's not got one of those big clunky blocks on it, but often when I'm traveling on a work trip, there's not a plug next to the mirror that I need, for example, so I can just shove this in my suitcase, and then I've got a cute extension cable. Oh, I've gone mad. I bought something for my 𝑑exy. I did, because my 𝑑exy always destroys toys, but I thought, oh, it smells. I thought this one seemed quite indestructible. What's Mummy got for you? Is it a toy? Is it a toy? How do you know that this is for you? How do you know? You're so clever. You're so clever. How do you know that this is a toy and not just a random bit of rope? Huh? How do you know? How do you know, you clever boy? How do you know? Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Mummy will play with you in 2 minutes. If anyone else has a sausage dog and has discovered, oh, he's actually chewing it, that's good, discovered toys that they don't destroy, please let me know. Cottage cheese, so I can make some of my egg muffins. Oh my goodness me, it's a real bag of tricks. We'll go through all the seeds in one go. The good fat olive oil spray. So random. This is a brand of ginger elixir, highly functional ginger tea. The founder writes, I'm a true believer in using food as medicine. With the knowledge of the healing powers of ginger, I started brewing my elixir 28 years ago. We are proud to source organic yellow ginger from the Peruvian rainforest. Our local partner supports sustainable farming practices. Our elixir is packed with so much ginger you can naturally see it settling in the bottom of our glass bottles. Take a 3-ounce shot of supercharged ginger elixir each day. Love that. Okay, this is 𝑭𝒊𝒂𝒕𝒖𝒓𝒆 seasoning, high fibre and source of protein from a brand called 𝑭𝒊𝒂𝒕𝒖𝒓𝒆. And I did read the ingredients. There is sugar in here, but there's also like seaweed and sesame and lots of amazing ingredients that I thought sounded wonderful. More seeds. An organic elderberry throat spray with manuka honey and marshmallow. We love to have a kind of herbal medicinal cupboard where we're finding replacements to like the big pharmaceutical brands that you normally reach for, because they tend to be a little bit more kind of chemically in their ingredients, whereas this is just organic elderberry and other ingredients. So this is a natural soap that says it is a stain remover soap. So I'm going to give that a go. I wore a Ralph Lauren cable knit fleece last week and I noticed it's got a stain on it even though it has been through the wash. So I'll give that a go. Hopefully that will work. I just love having a string of onions in the kitchen, and they sell them there. I think I mentioned potentially in the last vlog that I noticed that a few of my items recently have been getting moth-eaten. Everything from beautiful cashmere Ralph Lauren cable knits all the way to my Missoni beach cover-ups, which are probably, I don't know what the material of those are, but it's not cashmere because it's a beach cover-up and it's moth-eaten. So this is a little cedarwood pear. I think I bought a pair of pears. I bought a pair. A pair of cedarwoods. This one is heart-shaped. I'll put one of those in each wardrobe. I was planning on munching on these and then I ended up getting the soup. Sea veg crisps from Clear Spring. We needed a top up of self-raising flour, so I got that at Burford Garden Co. It's the organic Dove's Farm self-raising flour. So random. Ooh, I got this for Charlie because he gets very stressed. From a brand called 𝑭𝒊𝒏𝒅 Botanicals. This is an organic herbal tonic, a natural mood booster, and it says drink me for calm. This little drink me label just made me think of Alice in Wonderland, so I think he'll enjoy that. He'll probably down it all in one, but it says that's 8 uses. Now I'm planning on using this for my poke bowls. I love the sound of this. Organic Rosso wild red rice from generations of 𝑭𝒊𝒂𝒕𝒖𝒓𝒆 specialty rice growers. It is, yeah, a wild red rice. I've never tried cooking red rice before, so I shall report back. Let's not even talk about how many seeds I bought. Don't judge me, please. And then last but not least, until I show you the seeds, books. So I bought myself 2 books and I bought 2 books for Charlie. We have very, very different taste in books. For myself, Dr. Michael Mosley, he is the gentleman that I hope this is right. I will have to delete this entire clip if this is not right because it'll be very morbid. I'm pretty sure Dr. Michael Mosley is the chap that went missing in Greece, I think it was, a few years ago, and then he was found dead, and I don't know if they ever actually understood what happened. Maybe it was heat, but it was all quite peculiar and obviously really, really, really sad. But I've heard a lot of people talking about his book, both when they were speaking about his tragic death, but also before that as well. And it says, if you were going to do just one thing to transform your health, what would it be? Based on the popular BBC podcast, Just One Thing, this book brings to life Dr. Mosley's mission to find things that you can introduce into your daily routine, which will have a big impact on your mental and physical health. For example, did you know that eating chocolate can help your heart, that singing can give you a natural high, and that having houseplants can improve your mood and boost your productivity? So it's going to be little things that can really make your day and your health better, and I love the sound of that. That's going to be my bedtime reading once I've finished rereading Spoon-Fed, and I will share any little nuggets of wisdom with you. The other book that I bought for myself is the one that I briefly showed you in the shop, and it's called The Medicinal Garden. This is the kind of book that sometimes I buy and I get the dopamine hit from buying it and then I never actually read it. I've got so many books about herbs. I need to just make this the year that I really read these books. There were so many recipe books there that I could have and really would have loved to have bought, but I held back because I'm not very good at actually following them. But for example, calendula, there's a section here about the medicinal benefits of calendula, how to grow it, what to do with it, when to harvest it. Calendula is well known as a soothing and healing topical remedy. It's antiseptic, anti-inflammatory, has tissue regenerative properties. So you can make a calendula salve, for example. Oh, there's a recipe here for calendula butter biscuits, because obviously it's an edible flower. I just think this is going to be really aloe vera popsicles. How fun is that? I can't wait to have a look through this, given that my theme for gardening this year is all about it being a healing garden. That's the theme, and how very analog to have a book to learn from instead of, or as well as, using the World Wide Web. And then for Charlie, literally the complete flip side of the kind of books that I like. He likes political and geographical books. Heavy stuff. So I bought him Great Britain, How We Get Our Future Back. It's apparently a Sunday Times bestseller. An essential blueprint for a better future from the leading economist and Labour rising star. Let's not get political. So I'm just going to move swiftly on, but I think he'll be interested in this. And then he loves Russian politics. This is making him sound really bad, isn't it? He's just interested in learning about these sorts of things. So this is really short, and I think he could hopefully read it over a weekend. And apparently also an international bestseller. Dexy, what's the matter, my big boy? So 2 books for Charlie. Would you like to access your water? Go on then. And then we've got the seeds. We would be here until 2027 if I spoke through the reasons behind getting each seed. So instead I'm just going to tell you what I got, and you'll find out later in the year why I chose each of these. So Monge 2, a nori variety. I'll pop photos of each of these on the screen so you can see what they're going to look like. The purple dragon carrot, early purple sprouting broccoli, cobra climbing French bean, erigeron Mexican fleabane, calendula Indian prince, perpetual spinach, echinacea purpurea green twister coneflower, echinacea purpurea purple coneflower, benchmaster runner bean, meteor early cropping pea, Cossy violet climbing French bean, organic spring onion, organic mixed radish, lemongrass, and organic saxa radish. I can hear a baby, I can hear a tiny little doggy. And then the other things in pouches are runner bean jackpot pink, pea kelvedon wonder, broad bean carmazon, purple teepee dwarf French bean, and last but not least, this is actually lily of the valley. So I need to plant these up in some pots over the weekend, and then they will grow beautifully. I've got a very loving little bunny rabbit over here. Yes, do you want to go and play with your brother? So there we go, that is my shopping centre haul. What a random concoction of pieces. So there we go. Thank you for bearing with me while I go through all of those. I'm now gonna find a home for everything, and I just cannot wait for a slightly sunny day so I can do some seed sowing. I ordered my organic Rocket Grow seed sowing compost today, so that hopefully should be here in a couple of days, and then we will be ready to go. Sorry I wasn't very chatty last night. I was having quite a relaxed evening making those clementine and poppy seed scones. I haven't made scones in absolutely ages, and to be honest, I made them too thin. Only a couple of them really rose to be like proper scone thickness, so I need to just make them a little bit thicker next time. But really tasty, and I've been munching on the clementine this morning. So I am going to end the vlog very shortly, but I'm just going to make my egg muffins, which I feel like I probably have been making in every single vlog over the last few weeks. But before I do that, as the final thing before we round things off, I would like to ask your feedback on the QR codes that you've seen in this video. So as I mentioned at the very beginning, we noticed that so many of you are watching the videos on your televisions, so I thought it might be easier to have QR codes for you to get more information, whether it's information on a product, information on a recipe, such as broccoli muffins here. Are you using them? Is it easy for you? Do you prefer just clicking the links in the description box? Speaking of which, you may have noticed at the very beginning there was a QR code which is basically what is normally in the description box. So if you don't have the video up on your phone as well, I don't know why you would, then if you want to shop something within the video, the entire list of things mentioned in the video will have been in that QR code. What the heck, I'll pop it on the screen again here. So this is basically the description box. We're trying to innovate, we're trying to do something a bit different, and I'm just trying to make your viewing experience as easy and seamless as possible. So I'd love your feedback. If we're wasting our time, we won't do it anymore. I can obviously see from my QR code generator how many clicks they get, and in the past it seems like you guys are definitely using them, so we'll see. Maybe it's going to be one of those things that just takes a little bit of time, so maybe I'll just play around with it for a couple of months and see how we go. I used the Medicate, I think it's called Sleep Glycolic, last night, and I think I may have burned my skin a bit. It's a very strong, it's amazing, but it's a very strong peel, and I kind of put on a fairly thick layer like a mask, and I don't know if you can see, my skin is a bit tender this morning, a bit red. Luckily, just like perfect timing, I unboxed yesterday from Neil's Yard. They sent me an oat, and I think it's called oat and something. I'll pop a picture on the screen here. Oat and something barrier repair cream. So I have slathered that on my face to try and calm it down. My face was so hot last night when I put the sleep mask on, and it was really quite stingy. I actually had to sit in front of the Dyson fan on mega cold setting for 5 minutes because my face felt like it was burning off, which is probably not ideal. But yeah, that's why my skin is a bit raw this morning. I have got very much back into the habit of making my smoothie jars. This is something that I love to do. In here we have got a couple of acai balls, we've got almond butter, frozen banana, nuts, I've even got frozen broccoli seed sprouts and lentil seed sprouts, we've got frozen berries, strawberries, blackberries, acai berries, not acai berries, what are they called? Goji berries. And what I do is I just wait for this to defrost for 10 minutes, stick it in the blender alongside my kefir, and that will make 2 days worth of smoothie. I also clean the jar out with cold water and tip that into the blender so you get a little bit more liquid, and then I put day 2 smoothie in the bottle that the kefir came out of. It's a routine that I love to do in the slightly warmer months, and I know we're not in the warmer months just yet, but I've started to really fancy those smoothies in the morning, so I've started to do that again. I am going to do pretty much the exact broccoli, well no, I'm going to do the exact egg muffin that's in the recipe card, but I'm swapping the broccoli for spinach. We've got organic spinach from Riverford, just because I've got spinach and I don't have broccoli in the fridge. You can switch out the veg, you could put sun-dried tomatoes, you could put courgette, whatever you like veg-wise, or whatever is sitting in the back of your fridge needing eating. Put it in your egg muffins. I'm also adding cottage cheese because I got it from the shop yesterday and it needs eating, so that's going to go in the mix. And then I thought I don't want it to be too runny because of the cottage cheese, so I'm going to thicken it with the addition of some ground linseed. Very, very good for fibre. So the recipe that I shared and that I did the reel on, and you've got the recipe card for, use that as your starting point, but then you can really mix and match, shake it up, and do whatever you love. You could add more parmesan, add some cheddar in there. Cheddar and broccoli is so delicious. So there we go. Right, I'm gonna get started on that. Ooh, I'm going to use my new olive oil spray. I'm really excited to try this out. Good fat that I got at Burford. I'm gonna give that a go today. So there we go. Right, I am gonna end the video here. I'll show a little montage of making the egg muffins, but you've seen it a million times before. But don't forget, manicurist discount code manicurist Josie if you want to be able to do the most beautiful gel nails at home, or really repair your nails and give them a beautiful finish with active blur. That'll all be in the description box / QR code for your shopping ease. And that's all from me, darlings. I will see you on Wednesday. I hope you've had the most glorious weekend. Thank you so much for watching. Do I want you to leave anything in your comment if you got to the end? Just mention the QR code. Give me an opinion on the QR codes if you got to the end of the video. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.